You feel me? The way they portray prison, like on movies and the listen, bruh, nah. You know what I'm saying? And then my mom's, God bless the dead, you know what I'm saying? My mom's was like, baby, just don't mess with nobody and nobody ain't gonna do nothing to you. You feel me?
It don't work like that. Right.
What? Nah, bro, like, you got to click up with somebody.
Yeah.
You can try to play the cut and be chilling by yourself if you want to. You feel me? But if your hands ain't on that level, that ain't happening. And you gotta understand, man, like, I was a kid, bro. You know what I'm saying? So here I am, 14, in a cell with dudes that's 27. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was a brother in there named, I don't want to say his name. Brother had 99 years, bro.
Damn.
You feel me? Like when they give you your, like every month, they give you like a paper and they have like your release date on it. So the brother release date was 9/9/99. I mean, like he ain't never getting that. You feel what I'm saying?
So they just, damn.
Bro, and here you go with 3 years sleeping next to somebody that ain't never getting that. You feel me? So when people be like, oh, they don't try you, no sexual stuff, and bruh, all that's a lie. That's how I got stabbed. You feel me? Like when they came in my room, bruh. Excuse me. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, like every night, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't sleep, bruh, to this day. Like, every night, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't sleep, bruh, to this day. Feel me? Like, every night, bruh, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Just like flashbacks, you feel me? So, they came in my room, they took my bunkie, snatched him up out of there, you feel me? And did what they did to him or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So he came back in the cell, I'm reading the Bible. I'm reading the Bible like this, bro. I'm like, spook, you feel me? So he get on the top bunk. Like way back in the days, man, the bunks were made out of springs. So I just hear the springs moving, bro, like, I'm like, dang. I'm like, bro, that nigga up there. Like, man, fool must be crying or something. Like, I don't know, bro. I'm so scared, bro, just being honest, man. You know what I'm saying? So I lift my head up, dude standing in front of me. Man, like, he's sweating, like bro, man, like, got his boxers on, bro, like in the nudes, you feel me? So he say, what's good? He say, what's up? Look. I said, what you mean, what's up? He said, you know what's up. Bruh, and like, I can see the tears here in the Bible, bruh. You know what I'm saying? I'm a kid, bruh. Just being honest, you know what I'm saying? Nah, niggas come, niggas be like, oh, what, niggas wasn't doing, man, nigga, I'm a kid, you feel me? During that time. So, on reading, I say, man, you gotta kill me, bruh. Boom! That's all I remember, just my whole jaw, everything, my lip. That's why my lip crooked right here. Whole lip came down right here, dog, you feel me? He poked me, that's how I got poked right here, you feel me? Yeah, done stabbed me. And when he stabbed me, if put it like this, if he wouldn't have stabbed me, they probably would have, you know what I'm saying, had their way with me. But when he stabbed me, I felt the pit, like it burned. So I screamed, and the lieutenant came in. So when they heard the door like opening up, everybody ran out. You feel me? And that right there saved me from what could have happened, bro. You know what I'm saying? Cause, bro, just being honest, you know what I'm saying, bro? It was like, it was the most terrifying experience that I got shot in my neck and everything, but nothing was more like frightening for me in my life during that night right there, that one night. So that one night turned me to a monster. I went to hating everybody, bro. And it was up. From that night, nah. Everything I hated, I became, bro. Sending hits, getting niggas stabbed up, getting niggas hit with locks and socks, man. I had 6 years. I had to adapt.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't adapt to the lifestyle of the homosexual, but like everything else, like the stabbings, the locks and socks, the soap and socks, the lock on your finger, bro, I had to adapt to it.
Violence and shit.
Yeah, I had to adapt to it because it's like, this is the only way that I'm gonna survive. I had a homeboy named Devin Barnes. He had 9 days to go home and got killed.
Damn.
Right there in the child line, a body drop. Come on, bro, imagine seeing this. At that time, I was like 16. Imagine seeing a body drop in prison. You 16 years old and you seeing this, bro. You feel me? So, like, my mind, man, I can't, bro, like, when I came home, man, I thought I was the baddest dude ever, bro. Cause prison, it messed my mind up. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing these people out here ain't fighting. They shooting.
Yeah.
You feel me? I'm out 2 months, got shot in the neck. See that there?
And as he's telling the story, he had to become violent to survive. He had to become violent to make sure that he can wake up the next day. And even just because you become violent doesn't mean that you're going to survive. But overall, listening to him, it made me think about the institutionalization of Black men within and without and outside of the penal system. How we have to adapt to our society, but also how we become a victim of this tough guy thing because we put ourselves in a box or we're placed in this box. But and then if you come from an environment where you had to survive, because like Keith is talking about his area in Miami, coming from an environment where you had to survive, where even before you go in at the age of 14, you're in an environment where violence is the norm. Survival is the norm, and manhood is looked at in specific ways that can be labeled as toxic behaviors. So it's almost like within these environments, Black male monsters, or the term Hillary Clinton used, super predators are made. But we're looking at this from a systematic approach, though, because once again, these people are made. The behavior is picked up from the environment and the programming that's already been in the environment. Once again, take a look at who cloned Tyrone.
Yeah.
And so what he's telling you, who cloned Tyrone, he's telling you a real story of that, of how him as the version of Tyrone was cloned. And it's like, we really got to look at this. So of course, we got our notes and we want to get into it, but Pat, I want to start with you. Looking at this video, because this is a bit different than what we would normally do, but it's not that different. But overall, listening to Keith Wallace tell his story, what were your thoughts of Keith Wallace's story and just what came to your mind about it?
Well, the very first thought I had was how good it was that he was able to fight through it, but not just him, the entire group. Like the way nobody rushed to console him. Nobody told him it was okay. They just kind of let him work through it and get to it in his own time. And that, and PC can speak more to this, but that's the type of therapeutic environment that Black men need. An environment where, we can just be in a space and allowed to work through it on our own terms. And that part of that piece right there was so powerful and so profound, because oftentimes you do see, especially in videos like this, where people are getting emotional, other people are getting uncomfortable sitting in that space, and they start saying stuff like, it's all right, take your time, which those are not helpful for the person. And when you really understand what's happening, you understand that those things aren't being said to help the person. They're being said to try to quickly transition them into another space because you're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So seeing that man in that space surrounded by other people that allowed him the freedom to be vulnerable and to bounce through it, that was immensely powerful. The next thought I had was so a lot of people don't know this about me, but I used to give speeches at prisons. And when I tell you there's a huge difference in the types of prisons, like the cultures, the environments, um I've been to some low security prisons that felt like college campuses. And I've been to some. I haven't ever been to a max, so I can only imagine. But I've been to other types of prisons, in that range, and it's been pretty violent and pretty hectic. So a lot of that is where you go. And as I was watching it, I was like, he must have got sent to a crazy place
Mm-hmm.
as a 14, 15, 16-year-old boy.
Imagine.
That's right. That's
Imagine.
crazy. He said they ripped this bunkie out, did what they did to him, and then sent them back in and came back like the so there was that aspect of it too. Like just thinking about it kind of hit me on that level of going back to my experiences in prison facilities and jail facilities. And then on the third level, it was just, we talk about the institutions all the time and the institutionalization. Um, and that happens. And we talk about it in prison, but we don't really talk about the details of it, how these institutions shape people. And even if we do get into it in terms of prison, we don't get into it in terms of all of the other institutions that we're engaging with. That I see you shaking your head.
Well, just this point, because I want us to think about the institutionalization that Black men get before they go to prison, because there's a certain mindset that some Black men have that actually gets them sent to prison. So you have
Right.
one negative programming that sets you up to receive another negative programming on top of that, and it's not like it totally replaces it. It reinforces it and can sometimes enhance it.
The systems work together.
Right.
And they become a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's a snowball effect. You go to prison to earn your stripes, and everybody's excited about earning their stripes, but nobody really asks what you had to do to get them, what you endured to get them, and what the effects of those stripes are on you. And I say all the institutions because uh, it's easy to see it when we're talking about the institutionalization of the prison system and the violence and all those other things. But all of the institutions that we interact with, the education system, the church system, the military institutions that we interact with, all of these things have a role. So if we're going to talk about um, these institutions on a systemic level, the prison, the talking about the penal system is a wonderful way because people are so familiar with that type of institutionalization. But there are levels of it as well on all fronts. We're all institutionalized.
Right. 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 Uh, that's you landing your plane.
Yes, that's me landing my plane.
All right, y'all get off one at a time now. All right, PC. What were your thoughts about the video? You muted.
As we were talking, the police helicopters were circling the area, so I muted had to mute the mic. It's fucking
Right
crazy.
on key, huh?
Right on cue. Damn. I was taught at a very, I won't say young age, but I was taught that there were two things. Like there were two places that if people went there, you never asked them about their experience there. You never asked them to provide details. And that's if people actually have to go off to war, and then people who went to prison. That you don't ask them about what went on in there because they have probably seen some untold horrors that many of us can't relate to. and they had to endure some things. So only time I've heard stories is when they, like I've heard at press conferences when members of the Move 9 here in Philadelphia were released, and Mama Pam Africa and the Move family would invite me to their press conferences at the Student Union down on 52nd Street, and I would hear their experiences. But that's the only time I served. Funny enough, around the time he was in prison, I had served as a case manager here in Philadelphia, and one of my roles was to deal with people who were either in jail, people who were on parole or probation, or people who were suffering from substance abuses. And I was to find resources for them. Even visiting the prisons, both male and female. It wasn't necessarily the prisons here in Philly, because you didn't get anybody that was in state prison. We only got people who are locked up in county. And there's a vast difference between county jail and state prisons. Like if you talk to people, there's like different, like you said, Pat, different levels of incarceration.
Yeah.
Like what you was talking about seemed like more so where white collar criminals go to, in terms of like the golf course, the college course, and they literally, have different terms for that place. But when you talk about the state prisons, you either have the state prisons or the feds and the supermaxes. Those are places that the environment's changed immensely. When I heard the brother's story, and I just want to send my, I want to salute him for surviving, but also, and I want to come back to the part about the mindset that gets us caught up. Hearing that, see, the therapist in me cringes when I see those things. So like, yeah, Pat, I agree. It was good that they let him go through that they let him process that. I hope it was somebody there, and I didn't get to watch the whole interview. I just saw the clip that Joe brought us, that would help him to bring the pieces back together. Because when we talk about breakthroughs, you can tell he was reliving some experiences that he had shut deep down away into his, we put up walls in our psyche. And those of us who have been through traumatic experiences, supremely traumatic experiences, we put up walls to prevent us from reliving that experience over and over. And as he spoke to it, not being able to speak, that's because when you're awake, your conscious works with your subconscious to maintain that wall. When you go to sleep, your subconscious is in control.
Yep.
And that wall doesn't exist in your sleep. Prisons, we gotta remember, prisons are a European concept. Let's just speak to that. The idea of prisons is a European concept. The country of Australia was a penal colony. That's why you'd always hear about the worst of the worst people in Australia, because they were a penal colony from Britain and other European countries. But in America, the prison conditions, specifically for Black people, it was created based on the same types of dehumanizing tactics that were used during chattel slavery. Yep. And when you think about how, like, and it's funny because the movie Django showed a few things, right? When Django was going to go get his girl, where was she at? She was locked up in the hole, right? and they introduced the whole to prison cell, like to prison. So right after the Civil War was fought and the Emancipation Proclamation and the 13th Amendment, you saw an uptick in the prison populations looking black, specifically looking to black men. All those things on the plantation are utilized in jails right now. The loitering, if you have more than 3 or 4 people talking, they have to break up those conversations in fear of a conspiracy, quote unquote. But what I find interesting is that how they utilize other prisoners to maintain a destructive and monstrous culture within the jails. And you have to be a savage in those jails. Like the wardens don't infuse any programming around rehabilitation because the states don't want rehabilitation. They don't. This is a revolving door that's set in place. Keith Wallace wasn't supposed to survive. He was supposed to fall back into that same pattern of behavior, because when, I have family and friends who, when they come home from prison, they're walking around, but you can see them. They walk slower. They're taking in the environment, and it's like a new sense of new sensibilities are being explored because of the way they had to shut down inside those jails. When I would visit clients in jail, visiting the clients in jail, the shit was so unnerving to me. I couldn't wait to get the hell out. You're talking about an environment that is totally chaotic, out of control. Anything can happen at any moment. That's no place for a 14-year-old to go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Especially if he only had a 6-year sentence.
Right.
That is how you talk about the programming, because one thing I've heard from brothers who go to jail, especially brothers, when they pair lifers with people who have short-term sentences, prison doesn't become just prison, just a place to lock you down. Not only do they not rehabilitate you, you actually learn to be a better prisoner, because somebody who has nothing to lose is not going to really pour into you about being a better citizen coming back out into society. Somebody who has nothing to lose typically say, "Oh, see, shorty, this is what you did wrong. This is why you got caught. Let me help you build a bigger and better criminal mousetrap so that you don't get caught up the next time." And see, that is the cycle. And when we talk about it being institutionalized, that's what's programmed, and people become programmed. So when you have people programmed in the prison, when you have them programmed to just on a day-to-day basis just to survive, and then you just push them out those doors, literally with the clothes they were wearing the night they were incarcerated, and whatever shekels that they can earn while they were working for pennies on a dollar, and then you offer them no resources. The goal is to get them back in there. And as crazy as it sounds, him getting his jaw broken probably saved him.
He said getting stabbed. No, he said getting stabbed saved him.
Well,
which is not better.
Right. But I'm just talking about when he got his jaw broke that night.
Yeah, they had to take him.
They had to take him out. But it also, he had to make a decision that night. Am I going to go through this every night, or I'm going to become one of the monsters to be feared up in here?
Yeah. So I've also spent time in the penal system as an educator, going in and giving information, doing classes. And I've done from juveniles to people in prison to the program when they get out and they trying to transition back into the real world, and they got 30 days to get a job. The reentry program.
Reentry. Yeah.
And you got 30 days to get a job. So at those, not when I go to those places, I'll go to the juvenile facilities and I go to the reentry programs. I don't like going to the prisons. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't like going there. Like I said, the last time I went to one, speaking at one, I saw my cousin up in the like, man. And so like at my work email now, we're getting emails to go back into the prisons and tell them about all our programs and stuff. And it's like I just gotta get myself. I gotta get myself to that point again, because right now I don't like going, and I don't like seeing black men in that situation. But Keith Wallace was charged as an adult at the age of 14, like you said. So think about it. He literally grew up in prison. And he said out of his mouth that he became institutionalized. He had to become violent to survive. But I want us to also think about, like I said earlier, black men are institutionalized outside of the penitentiary system and inside of the penitentiary system. And when they get out, especially if they haven't done the work to fix themselves, or they don't get a chance, they're going back in. So it's going to be recycled. And we have to understand, like, a lot of black men are broken by the system. A lot of black men become trapped in the system. A lot of black men, we really lose them. We lose a lot of black men because it's like, it's hard to save somebody that the system is set up for them to fail. 30 days to get think about it. Think about it. You just got out of prison. You are a felon, and you have 30 days to get a job. Do y'all do realize nobody wants to hire a felon? Nope. So now in my city, what I've done is I've got connected to a gentleman who can find felons jobs. I found a gentleman who he went out and found a whole group of organizations, jobs, and businesses who hire felons. So we can help some people, but it's like, that's here in Tallahassee. That might not be in your city, but it's like, we have to think about environment and look at the environment that a lot of these black men come up in. Especially now we have at least 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 generations of black men who came up in single mother households. And we have enough information to show that within these households, children have the highest potential of going to prison. So we're talking, and we're just talking to black men on this. Just talking to black men. This is just about black men, but this is also in those situations, black men making better decisions about who they laying down with. Because when you make a bad decision about who you lay down with, the results could be a child who has to go through the experiences that Keith Wallace is going through. Now, Keith Wallace, from what I've seen from him, he seemed like he's done a lot of work to help himself get himself to a place to where he's living a legit lifestyle and he's in a better place. Of course, he's still working on himself. Of course, he's still building himself up and healing himself, but he's in a whole better place. And music is his therapy. And music is not only his therapy, music is his gift to the world. And if you go back, if you listen to his music, he's giving game. He's not talking bad stuff. He's not encouraging people to do what he did. And that's the best part about all of this that we have out of Keith Wallace is we have a man who has been institutionalized, but he's fighting against the system. He's fighting against the institutionalization, rather. He's fighting against the programming, but he had help along the way. And so there are a lot of other black men who are going through the same situations or similar situations that he's gone through, and they need help. They need help. But another thing you all talked on is being in the right environment for black men to talk about our experiences, especially our traumatic experiences.